What up, y'all? It's the Kid Forward, Fable Man, Big Boss Fable Man. I'm back with a video for y'all. I'm actually doing a reaction to Robert Hanssen, FBI agent exposed as Russian spy, found dead in prison cell. So this is actually trending as of today, number 25 on trending. Excuse me. So the details mention a former FBI agent who took more than 1.4 million in cash and diamonds to trade secrets with Russia and the former Soviet Union. Is one of the most notorious one of the notorious spying cases in American history. He died in prison on Monday. So I guess there's this FBI agent who pretty much betrayed the country. He exposed information to Russia about us for some cash and diamonds, $1 million in cash and diamonds. Okay. Wow. Don't really know too much context behind him overall. This is from 9 News. It's a 42-second clip. But after that, I want to follow up with the CNN clip of the damaged, notorious Russian spy. Robert Hanssen actually caused the U.S. So I guess it's going to pretty much totalize or accumulate everything he did, all the dirt, and kind of just detail it. You know what I'm saying? If they're saying he's one of the most notorious spies, but he probably did some dirt. I mean, y'all gonna turn against the whole country for 1.4 million in cash and then some diamonds on the side? He probably had several million in total if you're gonna cash out the diamonds. You know what I'm saying? But for what though? I mean, $1 million's not even worth it. It's not even close to enough money to try to get me to sell out against the country, bro. That's some crazy stuff. When you caught as a spy, bro, that's next level. That's different. I'm not gonna sell out for some money just for that, bro. Because I mean, you dealing with the government, man. They gonna find out. The feds will find out some way. You got secret operations, secret task force that are always looking to expose individuals like this. You know what I'm saying? So for 1.4 million, maybe if he escaped, right? 1.4 million, he escaped to a different country with no extradition, so they wouldn't send him back. I guess if he moved that way, but it didn't seem like he was playing it too smart. But anyways, man, let's hop into this video, kind of see what 9 News has to say. 1.4 millies. Bro thought he was a millionaire. Tough as Nigerian here.
Robert Hanssen, the FBI agent turned traitor, died in his prison cell in southern Colorado today. Hanssen had been kept at the Supermax federal prison in Florence since 2002 while serving 15 life sentences for one of the most damaging espionage cases in American history. Hanssen began.
Bruh been in there since '02. 15 counts of life sentences, bruh. You never coming home. You know what I'm saying? You see how severe espionage is, bruh? Like they ain't gonna respect that. There ain't no patriotism in that. You turned against your own country for the Russians.
And to spy for the Soviet Union in 1979, only 3 years after joining the FBI. He received $1.4 million in cash and diamonds for information that he gave to the Soviets and then the Russians.
Oh, wow.
He was finally arrested in
He gave info to the Soviets and the Russians. What? Damn. So he was arrested in '02, but they're saying he started like it was in '79 when a lot of this stuff was starting. When it started or happened. Damn, buddy was getting busy. So, and if you really think about it, in the '80s, bro, in '79, 1.4 million, that's crazy money. Because back then, I guess you didn't have all this everything going on right now. The currency, the dollar just held more value, more weight, right? So, damn, you have 1.4 in the '70s. That's a lot of money, bro. That's a lot of money. It's probably close to like, what, 3 mil? Back then, it's probably what that is today. I don't know. That's me taking a random guess, but damn.
2001, the Federal Bureau of Prisons say they found Hanssen unresponsive in his prison cell this morning, tried to revive him, but could not. Hanssen was 79 years old. Robert Hanssen.
You already been there 20 plus years. So now we got CNN, the damaged, notorious Russian spy. Robert Hanssen caused the U.S. in over 20 years, bro.
Most damaging spy in Bureau. The FBI once called him the most damaging spy in Bureau history. And today, convicted former agent Robert Hanssen has died in a federal prison. Hanssen received payments of $1.4 million in cash and diamonds for the information he provided to the Soviet Union and after that to Russia. And he's been in custody since July 2002. According to the Office of the FBI's Inspector General, we're quoting here, Hanssen compromised some of the nation's most important intelligence and military secrets, including the identities of dozens of human sources, at least 3 of whom were executed. CNN's Josh Campbell joins me now. Josh,
what? Damn, bro. A lot of this stuff, when you look into Fed work, Secret Service work, it's grimy, bro. Really, a lot of us don't even know the details because a lot of what they work on is confidential, right? But they be doing some dirt. So you telling me he exposed names that confirmed who individuals were, which pretty much, I guess, initiated their death sentence? But he was doing some savage work. He was doing some savage dirt. But he was doing some savage dirt. Anyways, man, back to the video.
you worked for the FBI for a number of years. The FBI has long placed Hanssen in the pantheon of the worst spies that affected not just the Bureau, but the country as well. Help people understand just what damage he did over the more than 20 years that he was spying for Russia.
Yeah, Jim, this was arguably the most damaging spy in the history of the United States. Robert Hanssen, as you mentioned, was an FBI agent. He started spying for the Russians back in 1979. He was a special agent in the New York division, eventually working his way up to FBI headquarters, having access to some of the most classified information pertaining to the U.S. government's efforts to target Russia. Now, he pleaded guilty to passing thousands of classified documents to his Russian handlers. He also, as you mentioned, resulted his work in the execution of numerous Russians who were spying for the United States. One of them, Dmitry Polyakov, was a high-ranking Soviet general executed after Hanssen provided that information to the Russians. There was also this plot that was called Operation Monopoly.
Then you see how he was walking up and they aggressively grab him. I don't get what's the whole ideology with police authority, federales being so aggressive for no reason, bruh. Okay, we know you hate him. Like, he exposed valuable country secrets. But look at him. He's standing still. Look how they bum rush him.
Provided that information to the Russians. There was also...
Come here, you asshole. You gave away all our information to Russia. We don't like you very much. That's basically what they said to him. Golly, bro. So Robert Hanssen. So this is from '01. Wow, it's crazy to think he's been in prison since 2002, bro. Wow. That's a long time. He's already institutionalized by this point. You already know, buddy. Already, you know what I'm saying? He institutionalized at this point. You spent 20 plus years in the feds. You broken at that point. I mean, he was close to 80 years old. I already know he probably broken mentally. Damn. So, I mean, how does that work? You're a U.S. Fed, but you work for the Russians. Like, how do they get you to even jump ship? Like, how do they even get you to their side? They had to have, you telling me from the initial bribe, we're going to pay you $1.4 million, bro. We'll give you diamonds, too. They didn't have to tell you twice or what? Because I'm sure, like, a lot of bribing or coaxing went on before he agreed. Versus they offer him the first thing. Oh, yes, so I'll gladly accept.
Was called Operation Monopoly. This was an effort by the U.S. government. This is straight out of spy fiction to build a tunnel underneath the Russian embassy in the United States in Washington, D.C. to spy on the Russians. Hanssen betrayed that to the Russians, saying, look, the U.S. government is able to spy on you. That also obviously allowing the Russians to take countermeasures. Now, Hanssen himself was eventually betrayed by a spy in Russia who was recruited by the U.S. government. At that time, there was a feud between the CIA and FBI regarding where this bull was. They knew.
So they all dirty. That's what it is. It's vice versa. You have spies jumping ship for, you know, their home countries, jumping from their home countries just for a little payola. You know what I'm saying? You talking about he got exposed by a Russian who was a spy for Russia, but he was working for the U.S. Like, I remember back when I was a kid, I wanted to be a Fed, a spy, a secret agent. I don't want to do none of that no more, bro. I don't want to do none of that. It seemed like that field is just a lot of room for backdooring. You gonna get backdoored. You better pay attention, bro. Watch your back.
Knew there was a mole. They didn't know which agency. This Russian spy eventually carted out a file that the KGB had on Robert Hanssen. And in the basement of FBI headquarters, this interagency group sat there looking at a fingerprint that was uncovered from a so-called dead drop. They were able to run that.
He said, yeah.
Robert Hanssen.
When this guy starts saying, yeah,
there,
he's
he was
telling you to
eventually
hurry
taken
up.
into custody by the FBI. Finally, it's worth pointing that at that point, Jim, there wasn't a death penalty under the Aldrich Ames case. Robert Hanssen eventually decided to plead guilty rather than face that eventual death penalty. He was living out the rest of his years in that Supermax facility in Colorado. Found this morning dead at 79.
Right. To your point, Josh, as you've been speaking, this is the footage, somewhat grainy, from his arrest in 2001. And he was from an age of dead drops, right, where he would walk into a forest or a park and leave something he'd stolen to be picked up later. And receive things as well that way. But one essential fact of this is that he was doing this for more than 2 decades. He stopped 2 or 3 times, once when his wife discovered him handling classified documents, convinced him to stop, but he went back to doing it. That was quite a breach from the FBI's perspective, was it not? Because there was suspicion for some time before they came about to making this arrest.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned the dead drops. What was so interesting is the person in the Russian embassy who ran Robert Hanssen, a man named Viktor Shirkashin, he also ran Aldrich Ames, who was the infamous CIA spy. Now, the handler would meet with Ames. The Russians didn't know who Robert Hanssen was until he was eventually arrested. He took such great care to protect his own identity, essentially handling himself. And so, Shirkashin wrote a book and said, look, I didn't know who this guy was until I saw it on my TV screen. As you mentioned, as far as FBI failures, this rocked the Bureau, the larger intelligence community. Throughout his career, even though Robert Hanssen worked Russian cases and had access to this highly sensitive information, he was never polygraphed. Eventually, the FBI instituted 5-year polygraphs. I was in the Bureau.
Yeah, I mean, take these specific measures. Like, a lot of times it baffles me how these groups don't have these preventative measures already in place. Like, and even after incidents occur, they don't even initiate them until later. Oh, yeah, well, now we have every 5 years you got to get a polygraph test, and we're going to make sure you're not bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, if I'm a Fed or if I'm a secret agent, they need to continuously be under surveillance or polygraph, bro. Because if it's so easy to flip them like this, we'll pay you $1.4 million. And now y'all releasing every 5 years, every year there's a test to know if you genuine or not. Even though polygraph tests aren't, they're like 20% dismissible or something like that. They're not even always exact. But they're like 30% dismissible. But point being is, bro, you just now initiating proper precautions. Clown world. This is the goofball world we live in, bro. Just clown this, bro. Clown this, man. So yeah, Robert Hanssen, man, passed away. I was wondering if they were gonna mention like if he had passed away to some type of suspicious causes, but they're making it seem like, but he was just old. He was 79, man. But anyway, that's crazy that over 2 decades he was finessing in the 70s when he started. I wonder if he had stopped, when his wife caught him handling the documents, if he'd be okay right now. I wonder. Yeah, let me know y'all's thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit notification bell. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, /FakeMan Road to a Million. Peace, love, prosperity. We'll catch you in the next video.